I used to think our relationship was solid. Nothing dramatic, no screaming matches, no lies. At least that's what I believed. Alex and I had been together for 5 years, and in that time, we'd built what looked like a stable, happy life. We shared chores, celebrated small wins, even had our Sunday morning rituals. People around us often joked we were relationship goals. I took pride in that. I thought being drama-free meant we were doing it right. Alex was attentive. They remembered the little things, my coffee order, the way I liked my towels folded, the playlist I listened to while cooking. We had inside jokes and a rhythm that felt easy. Sure, life wasn't perfect, but whose is? We dealt with work stress, deadlines, family obligations. But I never once imagined infidelity could be part of our story. Looking back, the first sign was subtle. Alex started turning their phone screen down, not every time, just occasionally. I noticed it once while we were watching a movie, but I didn't say anything. I assumed it was work-related or just habit. Then came the late nights. Again, nothing wild, just a few more working late texts than usual. Sometimes they'd come home and head straight to the shower. I chalked it up to stress. Everyone hits rough patches. One evening, I made dinner. Nothing fancy, just pasta and wine. Alex sat down, scrolled through their phone, barely making eye contact. I asked about their day, and the answer was generic, like it had been rehearsed. Busy, exhausting, I just want to eat and sleep. I remember laughing a little and saying, "You've been saying that all week." Alex just nodded and kept scrolling. I noticed more changes. Our conversations got shorter. Physical affection faded, not overnight, but gradually. They still said, "I love you," but it felt like an echo, something automatic. I told myself it was just a phase. I didn't want to overthink it. I didn't want to seem paranoid. I even blamed myself for feeling insecure. Maybe I wasn't being supportive enough. Maybe I was imagining things. A friend of mine asked, "How are you and Alex doing?" I said, "We're fine." And I meant it. Or I thought I did. It wasn't until that night, when I was doing laundry, that I found a receipt in Alex's pocket. It was from a rooftop bar we'd never been to. 2 drinks, 1 appetizer, 2 entrees. The date matched a night Alex told me they were working late. My stomach turned, but I told myself there had to be an explanation. A work event, maybe. I didn't want to jump to conclusions. Still, something inside me shifted. I couldn't shake the feeling. Something wasn't right. That's when the doubt crept in, not loud or sudden, but steady, like a slow leak. And in that moment, standing alone with that crumpled receipt in my hand, I realized I thought I was fine. Until that. I couldn't ignore it anymore. That receipt had burned a hole in my mind, and from that night on, everything Alex did felt suspicious. The late nights became more frequent. Their phone was never out of reach, always on silent. They even took it to the bathroom. I told myself I was being paranoid, but the feeling wouldn't go away. The distance between us grew. Alex stopped asking about my day. They barely touched me, barely looked at me. When I brought up the rooftop bar, they didn't flinch, said it was a team outing, said I was overthinking it. I wanted to believe them, but the lie was too smooth, too prepared. I started paying closer attention, not because I wanted to catch them, but because I needed to know I wasn't crazy. One night, I checked our shared calendar. Alex had blocked off time labeled client dinner. I cross-checked it with their email on our iPad, stupidly synced a long time ago. There was no client dinner, no meeting, nothing, just empty hours. I sat in the dark, staring at the screen, heart pounding. That wasn't work. That wasn't anything. They were lying. I didn't confront them that night. I couldn't. I needed more. I needed the truth to be undeniable. A few days later, my friend Jenna pulled me aside. She looked uncomfortable, hesitant. She said, "I saw Alex at the Grove last weekend. They weren't alone. They were holding hands with someone." I felt my throat close. She said she wasn't sure if she should tell me, but it didn't look like a coworker. She said it looked intimate, natural, like a couple. My hands were shaking when I got home. I waited for Alex to fall asleep and checked their messages. I never wanted to be that person, but I had to know. There it was, a name I didn't recognize, dozens of messages. Can't wait to see you. Last night was amazing. I miss your smile. I felt like I was going to throw up. It wasn't just flirting, it was full-blown intimacy. The worst part? It had been going on for months, hidden in plain sight. I went through pictures, travel plans, even voice notes. This wasn't a one-time mistake, it was a double life. All those nights I sat alone waiting, all those reassurances, they were lies. I closed the app, sat there in silence, and tried to breathe. My whole relationship had been quietly rotting from the inside. The person I loved had become a stranger. Or maybe they always were. I stared at the wall and whispered, "It's real. This is actually happening." And that was the moment everything snapped into focus. That was the moment I knew there was no fixing this. There was no going back. I wasn't fine. I'd been blind, and now I saw everything. I didn't sleep that night. I waited until morning, waited until Alex walked into the kitchen like everything was normal. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just asked one question. Who is she? Alex froze. They didn't even try to pretend, just went quiet. Then came the lies, stumbling out of their mouth like instinct. "It's nothing, we only talked, it didn't mean anything." I showed them the messages, the dates, the pictures. There was no room for denial. Their face changed. They knew they were caught. Then the switch flipped. They got defensive, angry even. If you had been more present, maybe I wouldn't have looked somewhere else. That broke me more than the affair itself, the blame, the cowardice, the complete lack of accountability. I stood there, numb, listening to someone I thought I knew turn into someone I didn't recognize. I didn't yell, I didn't beg, I just said, "Get out." Alex tried to explain, tried to say it wasn't serious, that it was a mistake, that they still loved me. But love doesn't look like betrayal. Love doesn't feel like walking on glass and questioning your own worth. I packed a bag that day. I couldn't stay in a house that felt like a crime scene. Every corner, every chair, every smell was a memory twisted into something bitter. I moved in with my sister temporarily, told people we were taking space, even though I already knew the ending. The days that followed were a blur. I went to work, but I wasn't present. Ate when I remembered, slept in short bursts. The pain came in waves, confusion, anger, sadness, silence. I replayed every conversation we ever had. Every time Alex said, "You're my person." Was any of it real? I deleted the photos, blocked the number, but the ghost of them lingered everywhere. I'd hear a song and feel sick. I'd pass our favorite coffee shop and want to scream. What destroyed me the most was how ordinary it all seemed, like Alex had just moved on, like our life together was disposable. Friends reached out, some were shocked. Others admitted they always sensed something. I hated hearing that. It made me feel stupid, like I missed signs that were obvious to everyone else. But I wasn't in denial because I was weak. I was in denial because I loved someone and believed they loved me back. That trust, that blind faith, I carried it like armor, and it failed me. I wrote everything down, not for closure, but to remember. I didn't want to forget how it felt. I didn't want to fall for the same mask again. Because what hurt more than losing Alex was losing the version of myself that believed love couldn't turn into